Greetings everyone and welcome back. In this video we have a look at sail trim basics, including how to sail close haul with balanced sails. But first, let's take a look at how sails actually work. When sails are set correctly in relation to the wind, wind will pass unobstructed on both sides of the sail. Wind moving over the leeward side has to travel a greater distance, resulting in higher velocity and less air pressure, leading to an effect known as lift. It's this lift and resulting driving force that allows us to sail close to the wind. For aerodynamics to work, the angle at which the sail hits the wind must be set correctly. The angle between our sail profile and the wind direction is known as the angle of attack or angle of incidence. This angle is regulated by us on board or as a result of shifting wind conditions. If the angle of attack is too small, we lose our aerodynamic capabilities. The sail will stall and we will lose speed. We experience this when we sail too close to the wind. If we try to sail with a large angle of attack, the leeward wind flow is disrupted. We lose our aerodynamic capabilities and the sail stalls, again resulting in a loss in driving force. We have all learned that if we want to sail close to the wind, we need our sails set close to the center of our vessel. As we change course, we have to readjust our sails, ensuring that our angle of incidence is fine-tuned in relation to how the wind is hitting the boat. The further off from the wind we sail, the greater the angle of incidence is required. The more we sail and the more we experiment with sail trim, the more natural and at ease we become when adapting to changing wind conditions. We also have some tools at our disposal which aid us in efficient sail trim, the most basic being telltales. These strips of yarn show us how air passes over our sail. So, how do they work? If air flows unobstructed past our sail, the telltales should be flying aft in a horizontal position. This is applicable to both the windward telltales as well as the leeward telltales. If we try to sail with a tight angle of incidence, we lose our aerodynamic capabilities and our telltales will start to luff or flutter, noticeably on the windward side. If we try to sail with a large angle of attack, we will notice that our leeward telltales no longer have efficient airflow and will start to luff or flutter. Other instruments such as a windex or anemometer can also show us at what angle the wind is hitting our vessel. We always have two options of how to react to a small angle of attack. We could try to change the sail entry angle, or we could change the boat's relation to the wind. Again, if the angle is too large, we can either change sail entry or change the angle at which the boat is facing in relation to the wind. Deciding on which change we make depends on how it affects the point of sail we are trying to achieve. Folks, please take a couple of seconds out of your time to like, comment, share and subscribe. The channel needs you. Also, find our Patreon link below to show your support and appreciation. So, wind hits our sails, there's an angle, etc., etc., etc. If only it were that simple. Wind does not hit our sails consistently between the lower and higher areas of our sail. The higher the wind blows from the surface, the stronger it will be. If we understand the dynamics of apparent wind, this means that each section of wind from low to high not only varies in velocity, but will also vary in what angle it passes over our sails. So, if we want to efficiently set our sails according to these varying apparent winds, we would need multiple sails and the ability to change each one. It's just not possible. Instead, sail makers add something called sail twist when they join sail panels in the manufacturing process. We can change the amount of twist we have in our sails, but please note, the lower sail areas are the important areas as they are the largest sail areas. So more attention should be placed on having the lower telltales react to our sail trim, then try to adjust the upper sail areas. To change the shape of a sail, we can change the depth, draft or fullness of the sail, which can be adjusted and demonstrated on a horizontal basis along the foot of the sail. Sail twist, on the other hand, is adjusted and demonstrated on a vertical basis, affecting the leach of the sail. Let's look at sail draft first. And sail draft is affected by what shape we look for in the foot of the sail. We can set sail draft so we have a narrow sail entry to the wind, or increase the fullness of the sail and a larger sail entry to the wind. It all depends on wind strength and what point of sail we are trying to achieve. To adjust the sail draft or fullness of the mainsail, we use the outhaul to make the desired changes. Releasing the outhaul gives us a fuller sail and larger entry, and tensioning the outhaul results in a less sail draft and a smaller entry to the wind. To adjust sail draft on our genoa, we have to make adjustments to how much tension we set in our genoa sheets. As we increase tension in the sheets, we decrease the draft or fullness of the sail. Sailing with a tighter entry and shallower sail draft produces a better upwind performance, but comes at a small price. Steering will be a bit more challenging and unforgiving. A fuller sail, on the other hand, has average upwind capabilities, and the helmsperson will find steering more comfortable and forgiving. Steering can give us a good indication of whether we have set our sails correctly. When our vessel constantly pulls to windward, we say we have a weather helm, and we try to offset this by turning away from the wind. If we are constantly being turned away from the wind, we say we have a lee helm, and will try to offset this by turning into the wind. This is important as we need to balance the helm as much as possible. We can also change the vertical shape of a sail, known as the sail twist. This twist can determine how much of the vertical sail we are using and comes in handy to reduce excessive heeling. Twist in the mainsail is controlled by the boomvang, mainsheet and traveller. Releasing the boomvang and mainsheet allows more twist in the sail. Tensioning the boomvang and mainsheet decreases sail twist as the sail is now flattened. Sailing with less twist is sailing with full powered sails with a greater potential of heeling. Sailing with more twist is sailing with a depowered sail and less potential of heeling. Reducing heeling is important for sail balance, and we'll come to that soon. The amount of twist in our genoa can be adjusted by the genoa track settings. Moving the genoa track forward reduces twist in the sail. Moving the genoa track aft allows us to increase twist in the sail. Now, we have one other force which affects our ability to trim sails effectively, our keel, and the effects of heeling while sailing. Just as wind passes over sails, water passes over our hull below the waterline, including our keel and rudder. When our boat has no heel, this water flow is the same on both windward and leeward sides. When we start to heel, the profile of our moving hull below the waterline changes. This affects the aerodynamic properties and causes a pull towards windward. We now have a weather helm and we round into the wind. When we reduce heel, we can restore our underwater aerodynamic profile. We can reduce heeling by changing sail trim in our mainsail. We can increase twist in the main by easing the boom vang and or main sheet. We can increase the draft or fullness of the sail by adjusting the outhaul, but our quickest and simplest action is to sheet out the main and or adjust the traveller. When none of that works, it might be time to think about reefing. A great way to practice sail trim, particularly on a closed hull course, is to practice sail balance and keep course without the use of the rudder. This reduces fatigue on your helmsperson, reduces load on autopilot systems, and reduces wear and tear on all your rigging. So this is us, sailing on a close hull course with hopefully balanced sails. As we experience a gust, the main will cause heeling, which in turn changes our underwater profile, causing us to head to windward. As we turn to windward, our angle of attack becomes smaller in relation to the wind, resulting in less sail force and reduced heeling. The underwater profile returns to normal and we bear away. If we experience a lull in wind or a slight drop in wind strength, our boat bears away slightly until the angle of attack causes increased wind pressure in the sails. Again, this causes heeling, which creates a windward pull, and we return to our course. By making adjustments according to wind strength and conditions, we can set our sails so that we keep this course with little or no changes to our rudder or steering. If we feel continuous weather helm, that is, pulling to windward, start by making adjustments to the mainsail, and if need, offset the rudder by a few degrees.